Hello, Dr. James Bogash, expert in health and longevity and creator of Bogash Life and Balance. And today we're going to talk about a recent change to the American Heart Association's Life's Simple 7. They've now added an 8th. And when I say simple, these are simple recommendations. It is not hard to avoid heart disease, and yet even people who have had heart attack, stroke, don't generally follow the 7 guidelines. And again, they're not very hard. And it goes to show that almost every case of heart disease, cardiovascular disease, is preventable if we just did the basics. And or I would have to say a large chunk are preventable if we just did the basics. For some people with a really strong health history, they need to do a little bit more. But again, we're not talking about eating tofu and rice with the Dalai Lama. We're talking about a healthy lifestyle that isn't that hard to follow. So what are the Life's Simple 8 now? Starts with diet. They've made some tweaks. They now give higher points to people who are following the DASH, which is not my favorite diet. It's a dietary approach to stop hypertension. It really focuses a lot on salt. I don't really think salt is a big player in blood pressure. Another video on that coming up. But it does give some points to the Mediterranean diet, which I am generally a pretty big fan of. Nicotine, and now not just smoking, but now vaping or chewing, so any other form of nicotine exposure. Cholesterol, maintaining healthy cholesterol levels, maintaining healthy blood pressure, and blood glucose. Those all tie in together. They're all tied to the same. So if you're on a blood pressure medication and a cholesterol medication, and it's wrong, because you're not fixing the problem. You're just fixing that particular number, because all of those are related to the same lifestyle choices, and we need to fix that. By bringing down cholesterol, bringing down blood pressure with medication, you haven't actually fixed anything. You've just made your numbers look better. So as I always say, you're going to die, but you're going to die with better numbers. Maintaining ideal body weight is also on there. Exercise, 2.5 hours of moderate physical activity per week. Like, that's not a big determination, but this isn't just walking around the block. We need to be more physically active. Period. No questions. Get off the couch. There's really no excuse anymore. If you want to live longer, it's that clear. And the 8th number now is they've added sleep, which totally makes sense that we need to, as an adult, 8 to 10 hours of sleep. I'm sorry. It's not 8 to 10. 8 to 10 is generally too much. So usually like 7 to 9. Personally, if I get 7 hours of sleep, I'm usually pretty happy, and that seems to work for me. But these aren't hard guidelines to follow, and yet if we follow those, we'd have a pretty dramatic reduction in heart disease. Despite that, heart disease remains the #1 killer. It's not a virus, it is not cancer, it is heart disease, which is almost entirely preventable. As always, I'll post a link to this particular study in the description. Make sure you like this video, share it with somebody who you think needs the information, and subscribe to the channel.